Hey guys, Dr. Tim here with Optimized Wellness Center. Today we're going to talk about natural ways to be able to bolster your immune system. This is so important in the era of a pandemic and coronavirus and going around, and where there's so much instability in our environment and there's so much fear about what might we contract and what's going on. And so it's important for us to learn some mechanism to be able to take control of our own health and to be involved in that directly. We're going to teach you a variety of ways to be able to help to move in that direction. There are a variety of steps that you can do to reduce your chances of becoming exposed to any kind of respiratory viruses and boost your immunity in the event of an exposure and to help keep you and your family healthy. Now, one disclaimer that's really important to mention is that due to the novelty of coronavirus, there's really no significant peer-reviewed research that's available or that has been published regarding the effectiveness of diet and lifestyle interventions for the prevention and or the treatment of COVID-19. Much of this information comes from the Institute of Functional Medicine, Dr. Mark Hyman, as well as a variety of other colleagues of mine when we've collaborated together here at Optimized Wellness Center. You can't control the virus, but what you can do is you can control the host, and this host environment is yourself. And you can make that an inhospitable environment and train your body to be able to make sure that you can thwart any kind of disease. You don't want to be susceptible. We're going to talk through today a variety of ways to be able to bolster your immune system and your own defenses to keep you and your family healthy and make yourself less likely to be able to get sick. If you fail to prepare, then you are in fact preparing to fail. You are doing the right thing listening in today and participating in this information and planning ahead for worst case scenarios. Make sure that you're also hoping for the best, which is in this case a means of focusing on how you can boost your capacity to be able to stay healthy. And I'm going to explain to you some mechanisms of how you can do that. You can use a variety of very simple tools to be able to monitor your own health and to keep track on a daily basis if there's any changes that may be taking place. Some of these include things like using a blood pressure cuff, and this is a mechanism of monitoring your blood pressure and if there's any changes in your ability to be able to get that blood from your heart out to its extremities. You can also use something like a thermometer where you can take on a regular basis your temperature to monitor if there's been any significant spikes or one that you can't seem to get down over a period of time. Another tool that's really helpful is something called a pulse oximeter, and this is a simple tool where you can put this here to measure the ability to get oxygen to these distal extremities. And COVID-19 is really an oxygenation issue and a challenge in terms of getting oxygen throughout the body in an effective or efficient way. These are all relatively accessible and simple tools and not very costly either, and would be really helpful to have on hand. Also, don't go to the emergency room without calling first. We can't stress this enough. It's a really precarious environment today, and so you want to make sure to get advice from your doctor. Call 911 if you have to. And if you're concerned at all, make sure to be able to have tracked as much information as you can so that you can provide that to them so that they can make the best decisions possible while they have you on the phone to be able to give you the best advice right then and there and to triage it. So, for example, if your pulse oximeter has been sustained below 90%, that would potentially be one concern. If you have a temperature that is over 103 for several days and is not coming down, that might be another level of concern. Or if your blood pressure has exceeded 140 over 95 and you're not able to bring that down. These would be potential areas of concern where you might want to give a call to your doctor. There are 5 things that we can do to make this process go better. And when hoping for the best, it's important to take actionable steps to improve the outcomes. And here are some of the things that you can consider. Firstly, focus on your own health, especially your metabolic health, making you less likely to get sick. If you get hospitalized, you will be less likely to have it continue to get worse. And if you are hospitalized, you will be less likely to make it to the ICU and need to be intubated with a respirator. Secondly, we're going to have to continue to practice social distancing. And I know it's uncomfortable, but we're likely to need to do this for extended periods of time. And we need to be vigilant about this. We need to make sure that we continue to do this, likely for 12 to 18 months. There is herd immunity, and many of us will get sick. But the majority of us will not be showing signs or symptoms of any significant amounts. 40 to 70% of us are estimated to get this. 80% of those will have mild symptoms. And 20% will need some form of hospitalization. 5% will make their way to the ICU. And 1%, roughly speaking, will die. Vaccines won't likely be available for at least 18 months. And so we need to make sure that we're doing as many things as we can to bolster our immunity between now and then. And even at that point, it's unclear how effective that vaccine may be or may not be, and how much testing will be behind that vaccine to prove that. So we need to start now and take actionable steps. There are some new treatments. Actually, there are also some historic treatments that have a lot of shown efficacy of helping people to bolster their immunity. And they have regaining some acceptance because of their historic efficacy. Consider things like targeted dosages of vitamin C, A, E, and D. Also consider the utilization of some exceptionally safe and powerful tools like the administration of medical ozone. You can check out some of my other videos on that topic. Of course, there are behavioral things that are really important for us to be doing and to continue to do. You need to be hyper vigilant about washing your hands on a regular basis. Every time you go in and out of an environment, before you eat meals, you have to wash your hands 20 to 30 seconds with soap under warm water. And you have to get in between all of those fingers. Consider covering your mouth and your nose on a regular basis, especially when you're in a public environment. There are many individuals who are immunocompromised and have chronic conditions, and we need to protect them. It is our responsibility. And we can do that by wearing a face mask. It is advised that all of us have face masks, and you can make them yourself. It can be as simple as a couple layers of cloth around your face, which is better than nothing. And there are others that are more sophisticated. Keeping surfaces clean. And this means consistently making sure that you're going around and cleaning all the surfaces in your home, and especially in the kitchen and bathroom. These are environments where we may be opening our mouths and opening our nose and opening ourselves to potential bacteria, viruses, and pathogens. And so we need to make sure that those environments in particular are as clean as possible. There are lifestyle things like improving our ability to be able to manage and reduce stressors. I've talked a lot about this in many of the health talks here at Optimized Wellness Center, and you can find some of their videos talking about that on our YouTube channel as well. Making sure that you're getting adequate amounts of consistent sleep. This is when the cleaners come in and they swipe away all the dust and the cobwebs and boost our immunity so that we can go out and fight for another day. We need to make sure that this is consistent and we're getting really enriching sleep. For most individuals, this is going to be somewhere in the order of 7 to 8 hours of sleep on a daily basis. Getting some form of exercise, and we need to do this on a regular basis, 5-6 days a week. It's more important to do this regularly than it is to try and get all of that exercise in one fell swoop. Spreading it out over each and every day, and even throughout the day, is the best thing that you can do. Get your heart rate up. Make sure you're sweating. These are important things. Find the activities that suit you and that can help you to achieve that. And then there are things like nutrition, food, and diet that are so important. And research has shown specifically that brightly colored fruits and vegetables will help to boost your antioxidant levels. Eat plenty of these on a regular and consistent basis, somewhere in the order of 8 to 10 servings a day, every day. For most individuals, we find that's very challenging to be able to get that many servings in, and so sometimes it may be important to bridge the gap with supplementation, where you're supplementing what you're getting from your dinner plate. You're welcome to come and talk to us if we can help you with that. We have lots of recommendations to be able to specifically target that for you. There are also some natural means of boosting your immune system, and this can be through things like self-care, where we want to make sure that if we're battling a respiratory condition, our top priorities are going to be hydration and rest. The hydration allows for us to bind more oxygen, and we're making sure that our cells are fully hydrated so that they have the capacity to be able to heal. And the rest is going to give us the energy and bolster our immune system as well, so that we can go back and fight that battle on a regular basis. We can make a whole variety of homemade fruit and vegetable drinks. We can make bone broths, all of which can be especially beneficial to us in a time like this. We can make lots of beautiful herbal teas that can also help to hydrate us and give us a variety of nutrients that are necessary. These can be things like peppermint, ginger, eucalyptus, chamomile. And all you really need to do is add some hot water, maybe even some local honey to bolster it yet even further. Add something like cinnamon or turmeric to it, and you've just doubled it again. If you have a sore throat, gargling with salt water is the #1 thing to do. Gargle vigorously until that water is just bubbling over. Consider doing it also in the shower with a neti pot. You can use things like xylitol to even enhance this further. Yet again, its ability to be able to make sure to kill off any of those bacteria, viruses, or other pathogens that may have got into your nasal or oral pharynx. It doesn't take much. A little bit of salt in some water, and then you're going to be gargling or using this neti pot. You can also break up respiratory congestion and sinuses by doing things like having a humidifier or vaporizing things, or using a steamer or a nebulizer. There's some specific techniques about doing some of these by adding essential oils or other things into there. And if you want some instructions about that, feel free to reach out to us and we can offer you some insight. Then, finally, I want to make sure to talk to you about some of the nutrients and supplements and foods that are so important to be able to bolster your immune system. There's a whole host of things, way too many for us to discuss here in this video, but I'm going to hit on some of the most important ones. Vitamin C. This has been shown to be so effective around the world. High dosages of targeted amounts of vitamin C. You can do this in a variety of ways. Oral, you can even have injections, you can even nebulize this. There are a variety of administrations of vitamin C. Feel free to reach out to us if you want some instruction on that topic. They're already starting to use this even in hospitals in the United States as well. Vitamin D, there's been a variety of research showing the correlation of low levels of vitamin D and various kinds of rhino or coronaviruses. You want to make sure to bolster that. The vast majority, unfortunately, of Americans are vitamin D deficient, and this exposes you to a higher susceptibility of things like coronavirus, amongst others. We can use some targeted methods of immediately bolstering that and then giving you a therapeutic sustained dose there afterwards. Vitamin A has been long shown to be a mechanism of helping to bolster your immune system. It's even found in the Merck manual. It's an excellent way to be able to help you to improve your defense mechanisms in your body. There are things like zinc as well. There's been a lot of talk recently about how zinc can bolster not only some of the synthetic medications that are being utilized to be able to fight coronavirus, but also mechanisms of helping to boost your immune system. I've done a separate video on this specifically, so I encourage you to look there for more information. Then you can use things like selenium and honey and garlic. Now, honey in particular, if you can get local honey, you're going to get some of the local pollens that are going to be in the environment, and this is going to help boost your ability to be able to improve your immune system, as well as also defending against any of the kinds of seasonal allergies that people might have. And then don't forget things like garlic and probiotics. Now, probiotics are basically providing us beneficial bacteria in our gut and our microbiome. And we need to feed those diverse set of probiotics with a diverse set of prebiotics. Essentially, that's the food feeding the probiotics that are going to help us to be able to create the right balance so that we can fend off any other kinds of bad bacteria, viruses, or other pathogens. So we can't control the virus, but we can control our host. And we want to make sure this host environment, ourselves, as it is inhospitable a terrain as possible to provide us the greatest set of likelihood of being able to thwart and resist any viruses. Again, you don't want to be susceptible. You want to bolster your immune system in your own defenses and your ability to be able to heal and make you less likely to get sick, less likely to get into the hospital, and less likely to be able to be in the ICU. We can help you here at Optimize Wellness Center through telemedicine and using video screens as well. But there's a lot of other resources in addition. Feel free to reach out to us and comment below, and we can offer you some guidance. Thanks, guys, for listening. Dr. Tim here at Optimize Wellness Center. Be safe.